Well, we have maneuvered and negotiated through some difficult times, both economically and socially. We moved from Wheaton, Illinois to 5 Points in Denver a week before 9/11. And so totally new staff, and then 9/11 hits. Um, we've gone through the pandemic more recently, and several years later, we're trying to sell our building in 5 Points because the neighborhood has changed. It was diverse when we moved in. It was over 70% non-white. All of a sudden, it had changed to the most expensive rent in the whole Denver Boulder metro area. And so we moved out of that, and we sold our building during the pandemic. So we've had some of those high points and low points. I still think one of the key things for us has been longevity. It's not perfect, but it gives you enough of a runway that I can tell my staff, this crisis will pass. We've gone through these kinds of things in the past, and we'll get through it. And sometimes all we have to do is survive for a period of time to be able to thrive. And so we've been able to have that kind of long-term perspective in the middle of crisis. We've had good leadership teams. We've had a good board of directors. And if I would get discouraged, one of the things I would always try and do is go out and spend time with our missionaries. And the Lord would pump me up because of that. After I lost my wife after 40 years and wasn't sure what my future was, I told our international director, I need to come to Latin America. And if being there doesn't get me back on the horse, I need to retire. And just being with Latin Christians who love the Lord, who know how to worship, who are committed to reaching people and multiplying churches really is what got me back in the saddle. So I think some of those things have worked for me. And, I think the fact that I've been around for a while, I'm kind of a comfortable shoe. And maybe it's given some security and confidence to people because you just keep showing up. And after a while, real time passes. But we've tried to keep the long-term view and not get overly concerned about the latest crisis, but knowing that God can bring us through it, and that oftentimes our best opportunities are realized in the midst of that crisis. We didn't want to move from the Chicagoland area to Denver, and yet we found a great opportunity when we did that. We saw over time that we were able to hire a more diverse office staff, that our missionary family became increasingly people outside of the country, not just cross-cultural Americans. And so we saw a lot of progress on areas that we were really committed to. And some of that came through crisis and things not going the way we thought. And yet we see that God rearranges us. What others maybe meant for harm, we experience a positive side of it. And we're able to pivot and really make some progress. So it's just been exciting. I never in my life thought I would have the opportunity to do what I've done. And to see what I've seen. And it's just been, the thrill of my life to be a part of what God is doing through Missions Door in our part of the vineyard.